So here on the site, to access the Manage Awards Multiple Funds, from the home page, you would select the application form that you're wanting to award. And then once you select that application form, you will come to the Manage Applications page. You'll extend this menu here and then locate the Manage Awards Multiple Funds. And then this will when you open it, you will see all the funding sources that have been linked to this application form. And when I say link to this application form, in application settings, you would have had these assigned application funds. And so then these are all the funds that have been assigned to this application. And then in order to match the applicants, you would have had this fund criteria built to where the applicants, you would build the criteria based on each individual funding source. And then depending on the criteria that made them eligible, those applicants would then start being matched to that funding. So if, again, with grants, one means that you might be using this is a grant site, and this is the Manage Awards Multiple Funds on the grant site. And I might have different funds. I might have one grant application, but I want to be able to award, maybe I have different funding pools for different interest areas, and I want to separate those interest areas out when I'm awarding, and then track the awarding based on those interest areas. So I would have done the same in the application settings. I would have set up the assigned application funds. I would have assigned those, and then I would have created the criteria that made them eligible, and more than likely it would be an interest field question where I asked, what interest area does your project encompass? And then that would match them to the appropriate funding pool. So that's one way a grant user may be using this. But let's go back to the scholarship site. Again, like I said, it's same functionality. There will be just a few minor little details that may make a grant site look a little different than the scholarship site, but I will kind of bounce back and forth so you can see. Okay, so if I go back here to Manage Applications, and then select the Manage Awards Multiple Funds. This will give me my listing of funding. And you'll notice as I'm looking at this, it does give me some information, and it'll say total amount allocated, total amount awarded. Now this amount allocated, you'll notice here on my screen, it is 0 at the moment. So where does this figure come from? So this is one of the first steps before you award, that you might want to populate this figure on the funding source. And so where you do that is here in Manage Application Funds. Now, we have in a one-to-many application process, which is what this is, you normally have your actual application fund connected to the posting fund. So when entering the award amount on these types of one-to-many application forms, what you would do is locate the posting fund. I'm just going to locate that first so you can kind of see what we do not do. So here's the actual application form that I'm using for my applicants to apply to. This is the one I'm awarding in right now. And this is the funding source. This is that posting funds. I'm going to click on it. And when I click on it, you'll see here an annual budget academic year. That will stay as 0 because this is not the fund, the actual fund that you're awarding. You actually are awarding the individual funding sources, which also are on the same page. If I go back out to one level here, and then here in this list of funding, I would find the actual individual fund. So like right here is a fund that I know is part of that application form. And you'll notice it doesn't have the application tied to it, but remember it's in that assignment piece that we just showed a minute ago. When we assign the funds to the application, that's where it's connecting it to that application process as well as the criteria. So if I click in on this one, and I go to the annual budget academic year, you can see this one does have 10,000. It's very important to look at this figure here though, because the application that we just looked at, the fund that it's connected to, says 2020-2021. So that is the annual budget academic year of the application. And so the actual funding source needs to match. So those need to be the same figure. So of course, if this was a different year, I could come here to this green icon, click it. And if the year wasn't here in the listing, then I could come down here, enter that new year period, and then enter a monetary amount, and then hit the plus sign, and that would create that award total for that period. Now, of course, this, if it was one that was already up here, I could hit the edit, change my figure, and then hit update, and then that would update it for that specific period. So it's very important you get the right awarding period for that application process, because you want those dates to, those dates do need to be in sync. It's very important. So let me go ahead and get the one that did show 0, so we can show you how it does show after we've populated it. Okay, so I think it was this one right here. So we have this one. I'm going to go ahead and select it. And it does have the 2020-2021 date, so that is correct. And then this is where I would enter the figure. This is the figure of the total amount I'm going to be awarding to all applicants for this application process. So I have $500,000. Notice over here I do have an award amount of 1,000, so more than likely I would be doing 5 awards at 1,000. So then, of course, same process. I would just click this if that wasn't the same right period, and then I can either add a period or I can adjust the one that's already there. So I'm just going to go ahead and add 5,000 because that is the right period. I'm going to come down here. Very important that you click Save on that and click OK. And the same for grants. This is the exact same process for grants. There's no difference here. You have your grant fund, and then you would have those individual funds for that grant site. You go here, you'll see. So here's the actual grant application, and then here's those individual funding sources that I have here. And then I would just click on them. You'll see when I click on them, same screens, same information. So now let's go back to the actual Manage Awards Multiple Funds. Select my application. And then here's my list of funding. And you'll notice now it does have that figure. Now this figure here, total amount awarded, as I start awarding my applicants, this figure will start showing me the amounts I've awarded. Anything amounts that are remaining that's unallocated, it will show here. How many applicants have I awarded? And then number of applicants awarded in this application. So this is based on per fund. So if I have a period, that's the 2020-2021, and this scholarship is awarded twice in that period. This is for all the applications I have on my site. So if it's tied to more than one application, then it's going to be total number of applicants awarded during that period. And then this is based on this specific application form. And then this is showing on this application form how many applicants have matched to this scholarship. So this is saying out of the applicants I had applying to this application form, 2 applicants met the criteria for this specific fund, and they are eligible for it.